This is Mohammad Badruddin back again with another video, and today we are going to solve the lab number 7 from web cache poisoning vulnerability. And all those previous 6 labs we saw the design flaw of cache, but from today we will see the second part of the web cache poisoning, and that part belongs to implementation flaw of cache. So without delaying, just go and we will see what this lab is all about. And before that, if you did not subscribe the channel, so please subscribe it, and if you have any query, you can put your query in the comment section. And the little disclaimer as always that this video and its content are only for educational and awareness purpose, and I do not support any unethical or illegal act. So today's video is all about web cache poisoning, but via unkeyed query string. So unkeyed query string, what is query string? Suppose we see something like https or whatever test.com slash, let's say, search, and after search we see something like q is equal to a s d f g, whatever is that. So that is known as query string. So what happened in previous labs where we see the design flaw of cache, what we see that whenever we go to test the web cache poisoning vulnerability, first of all we test it by adding some kind of a query string, so that the cache, whatever is stored in the memory of the cache, should not appear to the normal users until we finish everything and we know the behavior of the application and we successfully exploited and tested the vulnerability, right? So we just put a query string, and we test the vulnerability, we exploit the vulnerability by accessing the URL with this query string. But for normal user, this query string doesn't exist, so they just go and search up to and they access up to here, right? So that means a user cannot get the access of our stored or our poisoned cache response until he access this query string. But in implementation flaw, this is one of the implementation flaw, that if we put something like query string, so even if the query string is not accessed by the user, he is going to get the response of that query string which is cached in the cache. So we will see that. Fine. So first of all, we will read the agenda. This lab is vulnerable to web cache poisoning because the query string is unkeyed. Okay, unkeyed means whenever any user send a request, so the cache will match this URL only, not the query string. So that's why this query string is unkeyed. So to solve the lab, poison the home page with a response that executes alert 1 in the victim's browser. So let's see. I already opened up the burp suite. I'm just going to enable the burp proxy on my browser, and let's just enter it again back to the burp suite, and here we have the request. So if we click on it, you can see we have the request and response. So request is very normal, and there is a session cookie also, but if we go to see the response, we can see there is cache control maximum age 1, and X cache hit means the response we get, this response is coming from the cache which is already stored in the cache. Fine. So let's go. I'm going to send this request to the repeater and come to the repeater. Let's just send this request one more time. So as well as the lab is concerned, we are looking for the queried cache. So I'm going to put one buster or a query cache, query string, sorry. So let's say cybersec is equal to 123456, and let's just send this request. So as we send this request, we can see age is 0 and missing because this is the very first response from directly from the server. And now this time if we click again, you can see this response is cached. So I want to see whether this query string appears somewhere. So as you can see, it appears inside the link tags, and you can see the URL gets changed with this. But let's send one more time, and 35, it's completed. Send it one more time. Okay, it's still there. I just want to go there, and let's hit enter and see what we have. There is nothing changed, right? Okay, back again. What I'm trying to do here now, because we need to generate an alert, I also want to just right click on it and copy URL, come back here, paste the URL and hit enter. Okay, so there is no difference, access this URL with the query string or without query string. There is no change. Fine, so we need to see what change we can make. Okay, this time I think someone else is accessing this application. Okay, so 28 seconds, 33, and now our response is cached. So what I can do here, if we see this part, href reference is this, right? So with the single quote, so if I put here, let's say single quote, and then I'm going to put here slash, let's see, add here something like 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yeah, okay, now it's cached. So now if we go back to the browser, come back here, and without putting query string, if just hit enter, nothing, come back, send it again, still nothing. Okay, we can perform one more thing, because it's still inside this tag. So what I am going to do, let's just close this tag, so that this 1 2 3 4 5 6 is going to be outside of this tag. Oh, again we have to wait for 35 seconds. Okay, now we are good. So let's just again come back here to the browser and try to access this. And as you can see, now this 1 2 3 4 5 6 can be seen here. So that means it is this one, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, because we already enclosed this part up to here. That means that is enclosed. What is rest? This is the rest, and the rest part you can see here. And you can also see that we are not including anything in the URL. That means the query string is not included in the URL, but even though it is getting the response, that included this query string. So that means this query string within the URL is unkeyed cache. Okay, so now I'm going to generate the alert one. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and what can I do? Alert, let's say 1, and then script, and here script, right? So if you need that, okay. If you do not need that, fine. So ultimately you just need to enclose the href with the tag, and then you start the new script tag here. So just copy that back to the burp suite repeater, paste that here, and send this. Okay, 33, we need to wait 2 more seconds, and yes, it is added. So now if we come here and if we hit enter, as you can see, the lab is solved, because I mentioned that some other user is also accessing this. So when that user accesses this, it is going to work. And as you can see here, we find this and we also get the alert 1. So that's it for this lab. And if you have any query, you can put your query in the comment section. See you in the next video. Bye.